live in upstate New York. Due to geography and the Earth's axial tilt, it is cold and snowy here on January 16th. And when it's cold and snowy, a great thing to do is not to get your hair cut and lose all of the insulating warmness. A great thing to do is to go to your parents' place for a nice, warm, home-cooked comfort food meal. My parents live a 2.5 hour drive away. So the next best thing for me is to go to the diner that's a 2.5 hour minute walk away. It was cold from my apartment. But then I thought, I don't want to walk out here in the cold, even though I did it to film this intro. And the drive this far would kind of be a waste. So what if I could make some diner food at home? I'm Boater. Let's go inside where it's warm and cook something. Forgive me if it gets a bit loud in here, but I'm leaving the heater on. Normally I turn it off, but right now it's about 0 Fahrenheit outside, so I don't want it to get too cold in here. Also, sometimes I forget to turn it back on afterwards. Ingredient board, how you doing?
I'm attached to the refrigerator. How do you expect I am doing?
Okay, so you saw smothered chicken on the title card. What that's going to be, we're going to be frying up some chicken, putting some bacon, cheese, and onions on top of that, and serving that alongside with a boxed potato side. I'm not going to show you the sides, don't worry about that. But for the chicken itself, ingredient board, take it away.
2 chicken breasts. 1 onion. 1/4 cup of brown sugar. Shredded cheese.
The recipe called for a mixture of Colby and Monterey Jack. I have a cheddar and Monterey Jack mixture here, but really whatever shredded cheese you want.
4 strips of bacon.
Maple bacon in this case. Also, the heater just turned off, so you can maybe hear my stomach going, so I'm going to stop cuddling the ingredients and start cooking. We're going to be cutting our breasts a few different ways. When you look underneath it, you can kind of see the split along here. So first we're going to cut it open along that seam. Next we're going to be cutting this in half along this axis here. So be kind of careful when you get to this stage, because what we're going to be doing is cutting back this way. First off, make sure that there's no digits in the way of the blade, because if it slips, you would rather not have a hospital trip. Kind of make sure everything's raised towards the back there, so that if it slips up at all, you're not in danger. And then once it gets towards the back here, make sure that there's nothing in the way again, so that when it comes out, you want it to go off here and not in here. So then what you end up is a couple of nice, relatively thinly sliced breasts. So you're going to end up with 4 pieces per chicken breast, so we've got 8 pieces being cooked up today. Get your canola oil ready in a frying pan. Let's see if the trick that we were taught last week works. That's kind of what we're looking for. Placing away from you. The reason we cut them so thin is so that they fry up evenly, but you're still going to have a couple pieces, probably the top of the chicken breast, that is going to take a while. Make sure that those go in with your first batch. We're cooking these at medium-low heat because we don't want them to cook too fast on the outside and get all dry and tough while still being uncooked on the inside. Get a plate and aluminum foil, because after the chicken is done cooking, we're going to need to keep it warm while working on the onions. Just have this ready to receive your meat and keep it warm. We're getting a little bit of a golden color over here. I'm flipping these thicker pieces over here as well, but I'm probably going to need to flip them at least once more before they're totally done. As you can see just how much higher it's sitting, how much more actually has to cook there. I'm not worried about these little guys at all. He looks fine, so he's going to be fine. This one's a little thicker. I'm going to actually test him out. I would love a meat thermometer. I'm just going to put that on my wedding registry or something. He is actually not done all the way through, but we've had a little bit of space open up, so we'll toss another one of our guys on. Wash up your knife that you use to cut in so that you can test out others, because if you cut into uncooked meat, then you cut into cooked meat, well, now you've got uncooked meat and cooked meat, and it doesn't have the benefits of cooked meat. I'm going to say cooked meat more until it sounds really awkward. Frying up the chicken is undoubtedly going to be the longest part of this whole process. Especially if you have thicker pieces, you're going to want to keep them on there for longer. If you want, once you have if you look at a piece and say, oh, that's really thick, that's probably not going to fry evenly, you might want to actually cut that in half, again, in half, again, in half. I turned it up to medium because I'm impatient, but that seemed like a bad idea. Look at how messy the wall is from all this splashed oil. We'll be rejecting that. Clean up your messes when you're done, kids. And I shouldn't even say kids. Have an adult do this. That's done. And now that our last two pieces of chicken are in the frying pan, it's time to get started on the onion. Peel the onion. I'm sure there's a method to doing this, but I don't know it, so. While you're doing this, be mindful of the chicken in the oil over there, especially if it's going to keep splashing you like that. And just make sure that you're continually going over, flipping it, and testing it, making sure that it's not getting overcooked. Take the onion, we're cutting it in half, down this way. I just realized something I forgot to do, and that was to run it under water. And that's going to get rid of some of the stuff that makes you cry. I forgot to do that, so I'm going to tear up a little. Something, oh, it's so tragic. Once you cut it in half, just cut it along here, so that we're going to have kind of strings of onion. I tried doing it as rings one time. It didn't really work. They didn't really sit right on the chicken. I think these guys are about done, so I'm going to pull them out now. On your plate, you could put a paper towel down underneath just to absorb some of the grease. I decided not to do that because the chicken would probably dry out a little bit, but that is ultimately up to you. Now, normally I would have you soak up some of the grease that's here and just kind of get rid of that because normally it's a lot, there's a lot of oil, whatever. However, most of our oil, so I think it's going to be fine. Take your onion and introduce this to the oil. Alternatively, if you don't want it spitting and hissing at you like that, you could just get rid of all of it, put in a little bit more. I'm running low, so I'm just going to use this. All the way from up here. Oh, that's a bad idea. That's even more splashy. Now, if you prefer to fry your bacon, which we're going to get to in a moment, then what I would actually say is to put the bacon in first, and then when that's done, we're going to put onions in. However, I like to have everything done more or less around the same time, and have our chicken sitting out. I don't want it sitting out longer than is necessary. So now that we've got the onions in, we're going to get a little bit of brown sugar and caramelize them. Now if you ask me what caramelize means, aside from dousing it with sugar, I really don't know. We've got our sugar, which is kind of in clumps, so we're just going to kind of estimate a quarter cup. Pouring over our frying pan here. Whoa, not that much. No! Oh god, no! It's not going to be even. You kind of got to get, you know, big chunks like that, but that's okay, that's fine, we're going to break that apart. Any big pieces that you've got, get those in the oil first, it'll help to break it apart so you can spread it around. This was the first recipe that I actually caramelized any onions in, and since I've started using it on more sausages than I do with peppers and onions on it, I'll caramelize the onions, that's really good too. Smells good too. Mixing it up, mixing it up, mixing it up, especially with those big guys. I'll let him soak it up a little bit and get back to that in a moment. Bacon! I'm going to be doing this in the microwave. If you prefer it fried, by all means, as I said, you can do that before you do the onions. But get a plate first. Most of your pieces are going to use half a slice of bacon. Your bigger ones are probably going to use a full slice. I'm going to do 5 pieces of bacon just to be safe. F. Put down a paper towel first. Washy washy. And then lay your bacon on it. General guideline, if you're going to microwave it, is a minute per slice of bacon. Gets it nice and crispy. Since we've got 5 pieces, I'm going to leave it at 4 because I personally like it a little softer, and it'll be fine. Lay your bacon going with the shape of the paper towel. I don't know why I was doing diagonally over there, but that you're never going to fit it all on. Put another piece of paper towel on top. This is going to be capturing most of the grease. And 5 pieces will do 4 minutes. Back to my onions. We're getting a nice color in all of these here. Again, most of our sugar chunks are broken apart, like this little guy right over here, so take him and just crunch them into pieces, mix them around. Smells really good. We've got a really good color here. Good stuff. My onions are about ready. I turned the heat down to low, just so they don't get overcooked. My bacon's almost done, so let's get ready and work on our chicken. We'll bring that over here.
When you brought it over, you like whipped it around.
Oh,
There's
no,
grease
did
on the
a piece
bottom.
come out?
No, not a piece. There's grease on the floor now.
Where? I don't see. Oh, be careful when you have something that's a plate filled with grease. That's another Shamu moment. We very carefully brought our chicken over here.
There's grease dripping off the counter.
Huh?
There's grease is dripping off the counter.
Everything needs to happen right now. Like I said, very carefully and not getting all that. I don't even know where that one came from. I'll get to you in a second. I'm gonna get a second plate, just so that they all have a little bit of space in between them. Now go get your impatient bacon. That plate is gonna be hot, so you might need one of these. Just take these. Hot plate. Bacon's not so bad. Break it up and put it on your chicken as needed. Like I said, most of them are probably only gonna take about half a slice of bacon. Oh no, I think I'm gonna run out. I officially had too little bacon this time. Normally I have too much. So these guys are gonna get a little shortchanged. Sorry, it happens. And then just take your onions, drizzle them over the top. And then just drizzle your cheese along the top here. The cheese will melt a little bit on its own. What you can do to help it on its way is pop it in the oven that you might have just preheated and then turned off just so it was a little warm. I think I've done that before. Or you can throw this plate in the microwave for a couple minutes. Me, I know it's done, I know it's fine, so I'm just gonna leave it as is. Oh, I forgot the salt and pepper.
Make deep better button.
Yep.
Forgot to hit it.
Actually, the recipe originally called for salt and lemon pepper, but I just used pepper because what else would I use lemon pepper for? So there's so many other tastes with this that it's not truly needed, but it doesn't hurt. And here we've got a plate full of chicken. I'm not going to have this all at once, so how about I put a couple on my own plate and get a little bit of mashed potatoes on this and call it a meal. A little bit of chicken, a little bit of cheese, a little bit of bacon, a little bit of onion, and a lot of yum. Here we have wonderful diner-style food right in the comfort and warmth of your own home. Stay warm out there, and I'll see you next week.